Wow, that's impressively quiet. Hey y'all, welcome back. Jeremy from TTAG here, thetruthaboutguns.com. I'm out on the range with something brand new from OSS Suppressors. This is the RAD 45 and the RAD 9, their new pistol caliber suppressors. Thanks to Silencer Shop for loaning me these new suppressors, and that's a great place to find OSS stuff, this and the rest of the line. I checked out the OSS 22, or the RAD 22 rather, back in October around Halloween, and it was a really quiet 22 suppressor, and just like the rest of the OSS line, it had a unique kind of flow-through design that went around the outside of the baffles. A lot of the mission statement of OSS was to reduce back pressure, and they've done that in these cans as well, with the baffles before this modular section and the baffles after this modular section. The can kind of screws in half, allows gas to go around the outside of the baffles as well as your normal path through, like cup style loose baffles that are inside of here. So a very unique design to OSS. It's a relatively lightweight, pretty typical pistol-sized suppressor, I would say, in terms of diameter, length, and weight. Pretty standard. The difference is that flow around design. Also, it completely comes apart for cleaning, and then you've got a lot of different mounts, and it's rated for full auto use. It is rated for 300 blackout subsonic use, and just about anything you might want to do with a 9mm or 45 can. So let's shoot both of these things. One thing I want to do is shoot that 45 can on 300 blackout and on 9mm. Because as far as I'm concerned, if a 45 can is really quiet on 9mm, might as well get the 45. Now you can shoot obviously 45 ACP through it. You can shoot 40 Smith & Wesson, 10mm, plus 9, and 300 blackout, and everything else. So if that, usually the bigger bore makes it a little bit quieter than a dedicated 9mm can on 9mm ammo. But if they're so darn close, get the 45 can. Why not? Opens up the, the sky's the limit there for running fatter calibers through it, all your different pistol stuff. So let's get to it. So I realize my face is in the shadow of my hat, and that is for your protection. That's for your eyes, but it's related to the secret I'm about to tell you, and that secret is I am not a boomer. What I mean by that is I haven't actually shot a lot of 45 ACP. I have shot it suppressed on, I don't know, probably 10 or so occasions in the past couple of years. And I gotta say, my initial impressions of shooting this RAD 45, actually really, really good. It's a lot quieter than I remembered suppressed 45 ACP from a pistol being. Totally comfortable to the ears. I swear half of what I hear is just the spring action of the slide, the spring action of the booster in the suppressor. Yeah, that's really impressive. And it is definitely cutting recoil pretty substantially. Nice. All right, without a gap, let's switch over to 9mm. I have some Armscore 147 grain subs loaded up in my P365 with threaded barrel. This is a short barrel, so a little bit longer barrel would probably make it slightly quieter, but we've got plenty of suppressor on here. Yeah, that's really quiet, but maybe a little quieter than the 45, but not the bigger difference between the two calibers that I usually expect. Huh, nice. I can also hear a lot of spring noise. It's so quiet. I can really hear the action working. I can hear the booster working. The gunshots themselves, holy crap, really quiet. In fact, let me get a staple gun. We can compare that real quick. Just for shits and giggles. I don't know how this will come through on the camera. Oh, shit. I hit the lens dead on. All right, it's quieter, but man, not that much quieter. All right, as a quick refresher, here's what those 9mm subs sounded like through the RAD 9. And now I have installed the RAD 45 onto my SIG P365. Same ammo. Let's see how that 9mm sounds through a 45 ACP suppressor. It's still really quiet, but it's definitely noticeably louder. A little bit more gunshot noise, just a little bit higher pitched. Instead of a thud, 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 it's a little more, a little more of a crack to it. I'm getting just a little more of the high tone. Totally comfortable to the ears. I would absolutely describe this as very quiet, but with the RAD 9, it is very, very quiet, and this is just, I mean, it's well comfortable. Big margin to be comfortable, but it is not as quiet for sure. If that thing were 124 decibels or something, I would guess this at like 130. These are just random numbers, but that's kind of the scale of what I'm talking about, the difference between the two. All right, I haven't magically changed clothes. I'm out here, same range, same spot, 1 week later. I don't know how I neglected to notice that these are modular suppressors. So the RAD 9 and the RAD 45 both have a short mode. You take off that front module, put the front cap back onto it, and now, I mean, check out how awesome and compact that is. Let's go ahead and see how it sounds. Same 9mm subsonic arms core ammo. It certainly, I mean, even on this teeny subcompact gun, it looks really good. I like the size of this. Of course, it will be louder. Not bad. Nice. So it's more of a pop sound to it, whereas before most of the noise I hear is actually just the slide and stuff cycling. Now I can hear a little bit of gunshot sound, and mostly it's reflecting off of the back. Completely comfortable. I say it's a little bit quieter than I have a CGS Mod 9 SK, which is just a teeny bit shorter than this, but it is quieter than that. Nice. Let's go ahead and shoot the 45. All right, over to the 45 in shorty configuration. Same gun, same ammo. And like I said previously, that was probably the quietest 45 ACP pistol I had shot suppressed. This won't be the same case, but let's see if it's comfortable. This actually is more in line with what I'm used to a 45 sounding like. Wow. It might be quieter than the 9mm. That is incredible. I'm not sure I would run this in the long mode. It sounds so good and short. Real quick, let's put the 45 on the 9, see how quiet it is in short config on a 9mm. 45 can, the RAD 45 in short mode. On my P365 here. All right, sounds about the same as the 9. It is about an inch longer than the RAD 9, so you get maybe one more baffle, a little bit quieter, but you've got that 45 bore. So yeah, sounds pretty good. One more thing before we wrap this up. You can put a wipe in the front of this, a little rubber washer. We're gonna go ahead and do that and see how it sounds. Again, shooting 9 through the 45 can. All right, we installed that rubber washer wipe into the front, and that's going to help strip gases off of it and keep it sealed inside so we don't get as much first round pop and such. Again, 9mm through the 45 can. Let's see how it sounds with a wipe. Yeah. Nice. Definitely takes a bit of the edge off, a little bit quieter, a little less pop coming back from the hill that's over there. Very cool. All right, we have the RAD 9 on a 300 Blackout pistol. In this case, you know, I was going to shoot it on an AR, on my 300 Blackout SBR, but since there's so much action noise in that, I thought we'd get a better idea of what this sounds like by shooting it on a bolt gun. And there is nothing cooler, of course, than a Black Collar Arms Pork Sword pistol. And part of that, or I guess, despite the fact that I co-own this company, Black Collar Arms, it's still a cool gun. You can find yours at blackcollararms.com. This is the same configuration that we are sending to dealers around the country, this deep spiral fluted barrel, and you can find this on our website, of course, and stuff as well. But it's not about the gun. Although that fat barrel looks great with the RAD 9, let's go ahead and shoot some Armscore 220 grain subsonic 300 Blackout rounds through this bad boy. Yeah. That is quite pleasant. Wow. So The first shot had some first round pop. There was some oxygen in there that was burning off. But holy cow, this is really quiet after that. Nice. I can hear the firing pin. When I fire it, I can hear, I mean, wow. For a 9mm can shooting 300 blackout, that is shockingly, shockingly quiet. Again, 100% comfortable. There is zero discomfort whatsoever shooting 300 blackout subs through. This is a 9-inch barrel and the RAD 9. Let's go ahead and switch to the RAD 45 and see how that sounds with the same ammo. All right, we've changed over to the RAD 45. Pretty easy to do. These mounts are pretty cool. It's a neat design. I've never seen where the booster housing itself becomes the fixed mount adapter. It's threaded inside and outside, so there's no spacer. You just take the spring out of the booster housing and then you screw the fixed mount into the booster housing. Then that housing screws into the suppressor. It's actually pretty cool. So obviously it is a bigger suppressor than the RAD 9. It's a little bit longer, but the bore is oversized for a 30 caliber projectile. You know, it's 40% larger than it has to be. So this will be louder than shooting the 9, which is already oversized for a 30 cal, but man, it sounded good. So let's go ahead, see how she sounds. A little louder on the first one, and then we're quiet. Not bad. Actually, very impressive. Yeah. It's louder than the 9mm, but not much. Surprisingly comfortable. And I noticed when I took that 9mm can off, it was cooler than I expected. So it's uncomfortable, but it's not gonna burn me, which is impressive. I know I only shot 6 rounds of subsonic 300 blackout, but usually through a pistol can on a 9-inch barrel like this, it's gonna get that suppressor pretty hot. There might be something to the flow through design a little bit. I feel like it's a little cooler than I expected. 9mm carbine, let's do that. 1/2 by 28 fixed mount is installed. Got it on my 9mm CMMG Banshee upper receiver here on a cheap polymer lower that I built. And you know, the trigger group in this lower is a little bit sensitive to back pressure. It doesn't run as well with a can than without. So we'll see how this does and if that flow through design actually helps in this case. Yeah, no sights, because, you know, who aims? So literally the only thing I hear is action noise. I hear the spring inside of the stock. I hear the bolt cycling and clanking back and forth. I cannot hear the gunshot. I mean, not at all whatsoever. Over the sound of this action, the action is the only thing that I hear. That, pretty wild. Okay. And it cycled. Like I said, this gun can be a little bit sensitive to extra back pressure. So the fact that it just cycled through the remaining 20-ish rounds in that magazine felt good, sounded good. I wasn't getting blasted in the eyes with gas. Pretty cool. All right, y'all, thank you for joining me. The vultures are starting to circle, which probably means I am dehydrated and overheated and should head home. You should head to silencershop.com, check out the OSS RAD 9 and RAD 45. I was very impressed with these suppressors. They exceeded my expectations. I like them a lot. They perform really well. Between the two, you know, I'd get the 45. If you're wondering, you've got that $200 tax stamp, you've got a, what, 9, 10-ish month wait for approval, unless you want to get both or something. Get the 45. It's not as quiet as the 9 and a 9mm, but it's not that far from it. You know, it's maybe 15% louder, but still completely comfortable. And on 300 blackout, man, it went head to head. I was surprised how well it did on there. So just the ability to shoot 45, 40, 10, all sorts of other stuff through this guy, I'd probably go with the RAD 45. But either way, it's a great option. I love the mounting system. Silencer Shop makes it easier than anyone in the country to buy a suppressor. So yeah, all right, check out the full review on thetruthaboutguns.com. Please subscribe to our new channel here on Rumble, especially if you're watching this on YouTube, go to Rumble and follow us on Rumble instead. And we'll see you guys out here on the range and over on thetruthaboutguns.com next time. He's coming to get me. Here he comes. He's coming to get me. Well, now the hawk's out to play. If they find my body later, tell my wife it's been meh.